what makes you to explore business opportunities?
And that's when I realized, I have great interest on software. I was freelancing during my first year, second year, third year and all that.
Nowadays, youngsters starting business and they are not about to take failures.
The great things we build for a telecom company or for Microsoft, but more than that.
I'm very happy to welcome to the 9th edition of our e-magazine, Corporate Magnus. Today, we have our esteemed guest, Mr. Venkatarangan Thirumalai, who is an author, generative AI keynote speaker, and an industry expert. And we are very much privileged to have him for today's session. Vanakkam, sir.
Vanakkam.
To start with, sir, kindly share your early days from your childhood. What kind of a person you are, and what was your goal at that time as a young person?
Even now I am younger, so see, I came from a book publishing business family. My grandfather, Sri Krishnaswamy Sarma, he started Lifco Books, famous for the Lifco dictionaries. Every household in Tamil Nadu will be having a dictionary. So he started it in 1929. My father, Sri Vardhan, he ran it for the next 50 years. So I grew up amongst books in that sense, in our godown, warehouse and shop. So that's the experience, and seeing my father running the business was something I was more interested in the showroom where the books are sold. It was so exciting for me as a child to give a book, receive money from somebody, write a bill, give it. That interaction was somehow, I was very fascinated by that. And when I was in 8th standard, every year during that time, my father, the office was in Rangnan Street, T Nagar. Those days you could still go into Rangnan Street and come. So our old house was there, the showroom was there, warehouse was there. My father used to run Deviga Puttaka Kachi, devotional books exhibition every year, because we had huge footfall in Rangnan Street. So 10 days or 12 days, every publisher across India, from the north to Gita Press to Rameshwaram, everybody will be sending their mostly Tamil books or English or Sanskrit books on Stotra religion. We'll also have some Christian books from the missionaries, Bibles or Quran, publishers from across the world. It's called devotional books, Daiviga Puttaka Kachi, not Hindu religious things. So that's how my father, my grandfather, even the business was called Little Flower Company, named after the holy saint Little Flower. So that's the tradition. So that exhibition was being conducted every year. And during 8th standard, somehow my father said, you also help. I don't know why he said that. And I was managing a group of student volunteers who were helping us from a Ramakrishna Math connection from the Sharada Vidyalaya school. Those girl students used to come and assist us. So that kind of, I was not supervising them or anything. I was a young boy. But working with them, telling them, okay, because I know the titles, I know this, so telling them that, teaching them that was somehow very fascinating. I was an 8th standard or 7th standard student, 12th standard students coming from there, telling them, so very fascinating. So that's where I realized I won't call a great leadership or anything. That's where I realized I enjoy guiding people, and I enjoy the business part of things. So I leave it there and then we'll.
Great. Having said that, when you got that spark after completing your education, what makes you to explore business opportunities rather than taking up employment?
Okay, so employment campus. I'm an engineer. I'll come to that. But I was not a very studious student. I was more not even a backbencher. I was never in the classes. So any excuse I'll have, I'll be out of the class. So I know I'm not going to get into campus or anything like that. And growing up in a business family, I know from very early days I'll do some business. I didn't know what business, but I never saw myself working for anyone. Not that I didn't want to listen to anybody, but that didn't excite me. You have to create something out of your own, is what I have always realized. So during 11th, 12th, my father got a computer. This was very early days, I think 286 or 386 gray screen monitor and all that. And they had somebody develop a basic inventory software. And when a virus came, that software, the person also became invisible. All the software went invisible. So I was forced to learn it. And my uncle said, why don't you learn and write it? I don't know what, again, something is in life you can't explain. So my uncle said, you learn. And I went to a local course, learned it, and spent months developing that software. And that's when I realized, oh, I have great interest on software. I was always, what do you call, playing with electronics and all that, building small circuitries and all that. But this software exposure told me, okay, software is the line I have to go. And the software they were using and giving feedbacks and all that. So by then, my 12th standard college days, I did my engineering from Venkateshwara College, SVC, Sri Perumbudur. I was freelancing during my first year, second year, third year, and all that, developing software for local business. It's not like today when software is very mature, you have SaaS and all that thing. Somebody, if you know to write software, you are seen as a big thing. So local travel car rental company, I wrote a big software for them, which I'm proud of still. It's in my GitHub and all that. So I gave that and I was getting paid for it. So that was a big feeling that you are getting paid for a software when you are in your college first year, second year and all that. My father got me the first computer because I pestered him, but the rest all upgrade, everything I was able to buy from my own money of freelancing. So the question is, when did I start a business is very fuzzy one, because in the college days itself, I was doing freelancing. So in a sense, I was earning not big monies, probably few thousand rupees in those days, but that was good enough for me. And so 96, when I graduated, I was already doing this freelancing, one of the TVS groups. I was doing some small website for them, so on and so forth. So that is the journey.
Can you share your first venture in software development? Because for the information of the viewers, I would like to say I read a book which is Founder Catalyst, where Sir has authored the book. And I would say it was a much grounded book where an entrepreneur shared his experience in his life. So, your thoughts, your experience can be an eye opener for the viewers. That's why I'm asking this question. So, can you share your first
Okay.
product, what you developed?
Okay. So continuing from where we left, by 96 when I graduated, I had already been doing freelancing. So that's when the early internet came. 95 BSNL came. We could connect, and that will be very strange to the viewers of this. We had to go to a BSNL office, give a government form to get an internet connection. Rest all those are history. Anyway, so got connected to the internet. I saw I could write software in Visual Basic. I wrote a first software called EasyPass. To sell it, I said there was a company in Germany called Desk or something, if I remember right. They were your early PayPals or your Paytms or this. So you can upload your software and give a link to them. They will collect money and pay you. Very sophisticated for 96 time frame. So we couldn't get money in our bank accounts through international and all that those days. It was very difficult. So for that, they asked a company name. I didn't have a company name. So I said, I know this software is going to be called EasyPass. I'll tell what it is. But then I had a website also called Easy Tools. EasyPass was the software. EasyTools.com was the website. But they said, you need a company name. I didn't have a company name. So I thought for many days. There was no ChatGPT those days. So I had to think. And my sister once came and said, I'm called Vishwak in my house. Venkatarangan is my official name. So my sister said, why don't you call the company Vishwak? It's not that you are going to start a big Tata or a Birla or something. Why don't you call by your own name? You're breaking your head for this for days. She jokingly, as a sister, she was pulling a prank. Why don't you call your name? So I said Vishwak Associates. So I went to a bank, did a proprietorship company. That's about it. No registration, nothing. My father said, go to the bank. You will get it done. So I went, got it done. That's how the first company, Vishwak Associates, got created. This software, EasyPass, was a security software. There was this database called Access. Even today in Microsoft Office, you will find MS Access. It's a small database for small business, where this software was to set up passwords for it and remove passwords. So, it's a small security tool. I didn't know people will like it. There are so many businesses using Access. I'm a small engineer, just graduated, sitting in Chennai, doing, and I wrote and put this software. Over the next couple of months, I sold across 30, 40, 50 countries. People are buying it. It's $10 or $20 initially. They are buying it. I didn't know why are they buying it. I didn't do any marketing. I just put it and probably wrote in some few websites that I have developed this software. No GitHub, nothing those days. Even Google, I think, came a little later to prominence. So somebody in the US had a newsletter. They were reviewing software every week. So that person had picked up that, and that came, and that has thousands of people reach. So 50 people across countries are buying it. So that is how the journey started. For the completion, let me finish it. That was the product journey. Free. It was a freeware. You can download and use it once or twice. Then you have to buy it. That's how that thing worked. Then I was playing with this web technology and all that those days. That got Microsoft's attention. So they asked me to speak in one of their events in Adair Park. I gave a talk there. New product called Visual Interdev came. So I was the speaker for that product. There are interesting stories on my first talk, but that's a different discussion. So that I got connected with Microsoft people. So when they wanted to launch MSN in India, they looked around and not many people had worked in web, and they said, why don't we call this person? And they called me and said, why don't you do the site for us, help us? They were on a global platform, typical IT service outsourcing thing. So the first, as a prelude to that, they asked me to do the NDTV website in 98 during, I think, the Vajpayee's famous 13-day government. That election, I was setting up the entire infrastructure for NDTV, online videos and all that in 13 days. Not the Vajpayee government 13 days, but our work took us those 13 days in NDTV. That's when I saw press very closely, because I was literally living in NDTV's office day and night for that 13 days. So that gave the confidence to Microsoft MD in India to, then they gave us the Microsoft MSN India business. Then the next 20 years for various Microsoft divisions, I started working as my company, Vishwak Associates, then became Vishwak Private Limited. We worked. I had an office in Seattle, so we had many people working in Seattle. We were servicing about 20-30 MSN markets for them, and so on. That's how the journey started. The product was what I loved, I created, but then it became a services company by fate or luck or whatever you call it.
I would say you have followed the trend. Rather, you have created a trend also, because at that time IT was at the trend. So that may be a reason why it got so much attention, and also it has some kind of utility to it. I came to know in your book you mentioned that your first product was copied by someone and recreated it. Why I'm asking this specific question is, nowadays youngsters starting business and they are not about to take failures. Their mindset is not to take failures. So I thought this was a very big setback, maybe at the initial stage. Now, kindly share that mindset, what you had, and how you bounced back from that moment.
Very good question. I appreciate you asking that part from the many other things. At that time, I didn't think it was a big deal, frankly. But looking back, oh, okay, we have climbed that and come over. I more took it as a personal friendship. He cheated me on the friendship rather than there's a big business loss and all that. That didn't come to my mind. I was probably naive those days. Naivety is good. Today, I think there is so much information that students are losing that naivety. Sometimes, like a famous thing, like Steve Jobs says, stay hungry, stay foolish. You have to be foolish to start a business. Otherwise, you do an Excel calculation, you can't start a business. Unless your father is a millionaire, billionaire who can write a check, or you marry into a business family and you inherit a empire to run, you have to be foolish. Otherwise, you say, okay, there is 10 lakh salary from Infosys, or I'm going to start this business where the monthly turnover I see to be 20,000-30,000 rupees. Why do I want to do it? Doesn't make any sense. So coming back to your question on that, this was this easy pass, and we wrote 2 or 3 other easy star products, easy struct and so on. And there was this person, let's call him Mr. M. He lived across the street in Chennai. So this was something I enjoyed doing. So there was Vishwak Associates. I put the software and he will come. I had a big computer, internet and all that. My college classmates will come and just hang around. They will watch movies or download images. Movies was impossible. Images and stories and software and all that. So my house was a place where they could come. So here there was this Mr. M who would come in. And we didn't have any discussion, you partner with me, you don't partner with me, nothing like that. I was developing something and he said, why don't, oh, that screen, Venkat, I'll help you. Okay, help. So we both were coding. I was coding, he was coding, he was improving something, he listed. There was no work allocation. What is that you're doing? Nothing like that. We just enjoyed doing it. And then I was consulting a company. This was like 6 months, 1 year. The software was selling. I was probably making about 20,000-30,000 rupees pocket money for me to spend, so that I'm not asking my father what to do. Then one of the companies I was consulting, this was called Chennai Online. So I created their initial, they were the early web portals of those days. So I was consulting them. I was fresh out of college. Consulting seems a big word, but then I was the only one who know web, HTML, JavaScript, and that made me a big deal. So not many people know those days. So it was the cutting edge technology those days. Just like we were talking about AI, AGI, web was what everybody was talking about. So they said, "Oh, why don't you do this?" So I was doing. That's when one of their senior, their GM came, Srivachan, he came and said, "Venkat, I'm finding Easy Pass the same thing in some other website." Okay, so I then looked, and it didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, okay, it is Mr. M who has done it. Same screen, just replacing the name with something name, and he put it. So, and the funny part was, he had borrowed one of my old computers and put it in his house and all that. Long story short, so I went in, brought the computer. I told his mother that I don't want to see him anymore, and that's about it. But what I was personally hurt was, there was not so much money to be made. This is not a Microsoft Office or a Chat GPT kind of thing. It's never going to make millions or even thousands of rupees in any time and soon. So that was a betrayal to the friendship that is it, and I moved on. So that meant in the business then, I never had partners for the next 20 years. When I thought about it, I know, okay, I've gone through this, I can cross this journey. It's not a big deal.
Maybe you're from a family with a business background. Maybe that gives a maturity to move on very easily.
Probably. I would have never even discussed this with my father or anything. So I just moved on. What is the big deal about it?
Can you share in what way your family business have had impact in your life and in your business?
See, definitely in my book also, I talk about my grandfather. He passed away when I was 4 years, 5 years, the person who started the Lifco in 1929. So I'd never seen him. So it was only stories, I heard from people how great he was. And my father was the one who I seen very closely, and he passed away 6-7 years back. But he never sat down, and it's not today's interaction that I have with my son or anything like that. So the at most I would have spoken to my father maybe 100 words, 500 words in the entire uh, life I had known him. So, and he never sat down and said, "This is what you have to do." That kind of parenting is, I think, impossible golden standards to emulate. I don't think so. I cannot do it. My son will agree. And I do see the other parents coming. It's extremely difficult. He just set a role model. He never sat down and said, "This is what you have to do." That, I think, is the biggest parenting lesson you can give, where you don't tell somebody, you just live your life the way it should be lived, and you just observe and learn it. That's been what I learned from my father. He never made a big deal about, there was no Excel sheet, there was no financial planning, there was no consultants. All he knows was monthly he had to pay salary to his people on time. There has to be balance in the bank. He borrowed from the bank, it has to be paid on time. He promised a customer, he has to deliver. Those very simple things, nothing complicated. So that's what I learned from him. And till I ran my business 20 years, I sold it to a US company 4-5 years back, and I exited. Till that time, I can proudly say, you can ask me what technologies we build. I can tell you from the first technology, the great things we built for a telecom company or for Microsoft. But more than that, the proudest moment for me, even in my toughest time when I had so much debt, I never delayed paying salary to my people. We had 200, 300 people, office in US, UK and all that. Bootstrap, there was no investor, nobody. But that is my proudest thing, that I will still say that when I ran my business for 20, 25 years, there was no dues to anybody. Okay. And I paid, it's a small thing. Paying salary to people may not be a big thing, but running it over the period without investors, and I think that is the proudest thing for me.